Hello there, my name is Chris. You're watching Cinema Night Central. Now let's review Y2K.
Someone's on the net.
Dumbass. I use gel.
You've got mail.
Oh, shit. A Tamagotchi just drilled through a chick's head.
Come on, we gotta go.
Real quick before I get into my thoughts on Y2K, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. The month of November was absolutely chaotic for me. Did nothing but work every damn day. Unfortunately, I was not able to get any content up for you guys other than a couple of videos, but hopefully December will be different. So, let's get into my thoughts on Y2K. So, Y2K is set in 1999, New Year's Eve. This group of teenagers, they gather for this New Year's Eve party, and the Y2K thing was a real thing. I grew up in the late 90s, in the 90s. I remember this pretty easily. This really freaked my ass out. The world's gonna end. The computers are gonna crash, and everything was gonna shut down and everything. Then when 2000 hit, nothing happened. Unfortunately, that's not the case for the characters in this movie. Yeah, the stroke of midnight happens, and then everything just goes completely apeshit. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but it's basically a blend of like Chopping Mall and the Terminator, and a little bit of this late '80s movie called Pulse with a young Joey Lawrence. So if you've seen those movies, you kind of know where this movie is gonna go. And I remember hearing about this thing in the summertime, and I knew that Rachel Zegler was in it, and that Jaeden Martell and Julian Dennison, and I was interested in seeing it, but I'll be honest with you guys, I totally forgot about it up until about a month ago. And so I still had some interest in it, so I wanted to check it out. And honestly, I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of those movies where you just have to turn your brain off, because a lot about this movie, and that pertains to the main plot, just makes absolutely zero sense. Like, how the fuck does this even happen? And that was a thought that kind of went through my mind as I was watching this. When the crazy shit that's going down, I'm like, how did that happen? How did these things get built? How did they just kind of come out of nowhere? It's weird. And so, and once midnight hits, I mean, everything happens quickly. And so, this has a really good cast in it. Rachel Zegler is great. She plays the love interest of Jaeden Martell's character. They have some pretty solid chemistry, so they're pretty good. Julian Dennison, who plays Martell's best friend, he was from Deadpool 2. I thought he was funny. He provided most of the humor in this movie, and which is kind of an issue that I have later on. The kills is great. I had no idea that this was an A24 movie. I thought it was going to be like a Blumhouse situation where the violence is going to be watered down and just be another kind of just non-gory movie. But thankfully, no. This is A24, and it's gory, and I love it. The violence is good. The kills are great. They're well executed, well carried out, and that's really where this movie is at its strongest, is in its horror elements. There's also a cameo in the last like 20 minutes of this thing, and I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean, as a kid, I was not really a fan of this particular individual or the band that they were associated with. So, but either way, I thought it was cool. I thought he provided some more of the comedy. Something this movie kind of lacked a little bit. But the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this person was a certain John Travolta movie. He's associated with a certain John Travolta movie, and I was like, wow, that is crazy. Let's get into the negatives, and I only had two things. One is the first 20 minutes in this movie, it really leans into the nostalgia of like the late 90s. It really kind of hammers you with pop culture references and the music and just the things that were around, the AOL and dial-up internet and everything. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't really bother me all that much, but it might bother some. Not so much an issue for me per se, but it might be for y'all, for some of y'all. And then secondly is this movie, it's kind of tonally imbalanced. It's primarily, it's supposed to be a comedy, sci-fi horror thriller, and it's more so a sci-fi horror than a comedy. Like I said, there are some moments where it is funny with Julian Dennison's character and the cameo, but it's few and far between. There's a few laughs in there, but ultimately it's just the mean spirited nature of our villains and the horror aspects kind of unbalanced the humor in it. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I didn't think that I would, but I thought it was kind of a surprise. Like I said, the performances are great. Rachel Zegler is great. Jaeden Martell, Julian Dennison. You also have Alicia Silverstone is also in this as well as Martell's mother. And so you see her at the beginning and at the end of the movie, and that's pretty much it. She don't have a big part, but it was cool to see her in this. And also Mason Gooding is here as well. I thought he was really good too as well. He plays one of Rachel Zegler's exes, and so it was kind of cool to see him in this outside of, because this is the first thing that I've seen him in outside of the Scream franchise. So it's kind of cool to see him in here. So, but yeah, overall, I'm gonna give Y2K a 7 out of 10. If you're a fan of the nostalgic movies, this along with like Time Cut, very resonated better with me than nostalgically anyway, better than Totally Killer did. Totally Killer took place in the 80s, and I didn't grow up in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s and 2000s. So Time Cut and this movie more so connected with me nostalgically. Time Cut may not have been a great movie, it was a very disappointing slasher, but nostalgically it hit the spot. But yeah, Y2K, thankfully though, it has more. Its strengths are the nostalgia. Its strengths are the horror elements. It's just the humor that's supposed to be in here. It's just few and far between. That's just my thoughts on Y2K. It's in the theater, so go check it out. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below if you've seen Y2K. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. I love you guys. You guys are the best, and I will see you next time.